It might surprise you to hear this, but regularly snacking on the wrong kind of nuts could raise your risk of heart disease by up to 48%. That's nearly half. And the risk only gets more serious the older you get. Now that's not just speculation, it's based on studies published over the years in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology. The scary part? These are common nuts, often sitting right in our kitchen cabinets. Some of them can quietly raise blood pressure, trigger inflammation, clog arteries, and even accelerate cognitive decline. And here's the kicker: many seniors eat them thinking they're doing something healthy. One nut in particular, and we'll reveal which one a little later, has been directly linked to higher levels of a chemical that, when consumed regularly, can damage your kidneys, liver, and brain. It's especially popular among folks on low-carb diets, and odds are it's already in your snack drawer. But don't worry, this video is your guide to getting it right. We'll go over which nuts are genuinely heart-smart, brain-friendly, and safe for aging bodies. And we'll flag the ones you should avoid at all costs. Stick around till the end, because there's one nut in particular that's much more dangerous than most people realize, and the reasons why are downright chilling. Before we jump in, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos. Drop a comment below letting us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. Alright, let's dive into the top 4 nuts seniors should be eating, starting with number 4. Number 4. Almonds. The bone-strengthening powerhouse almonds are like a daily multivitamin for your bones. They're packed with calcium and vitamin E, which team up to keep bones strong, especially important as we get older. After age 65, our bones naturally become more porous and fragile, which makes falls and fractures much more dangerous. But just a quarter cup of almonds a day provides around 97 milligrams of calcium to help slow that bone loss. Almonds also give you a good dose of magnesium, another essential mineral that many older adults are low on. And here's why that matters. Magnesium helps transport calcium to your bones, instead of letting it build up in your arteries. That's a big deal for heart health, especially as cardiovascular risk climbs with age. Plus, almonds are full of healthy monounsaturated fats, the same kind you find in olive oil. These fats help lower bad LDL cholesterol, reducing your risk of heart disease. How much should you eat? Aim for about 15 to 20 almonds a day, raw or dry roasted, and preferably unsalted. They're also high in fiber, about 3.5 grams per serving, making them an excellent natural fix for constipation, which affects nearly 40% of older adults. And it gets better. A study from Tufts University found that almonds protect brain cells from oxidative damage, which becomes more common as we age. If you can, choose almonds with the skin still on. That's where the flavonoids live, and those compounds, when paired with vitamin E, can double the nut's antioxidant benefits. Quick safety note: almonds can be a choking risk for those with swallowing difficulties, so be sure to chew them thoroughly or opt for slivered almonds if needed. #3. Walnuts. The brain's best friend. You know how a walnut kind of looks like a little brain? That's not just a funny coincidence. They're actually great for your brain. Walnuts are the best source among common nuts for alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. Omega-3 South support brain cell membranes and help your neurons fire properly. Super important as we get older. One study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that seniors who ate just 1.5 ounces of walnuts daily for 8 weeks saw notable improvements in cognitive processing speed and mental flexibility. And it doesn't stop there. Walnuts contain unique polyphenols that can reduce inflammation in brain tissue, one of the suspected root causes of conditions like Alzheimer's and dementia. These compounds are able to cross the blood-brain barrier, giving them an extra edge. You also get a natural dose of melatonin from walnuts, which can help with sleep, a common issue for people over 60. Many find that having a small handful of walnuts before bed improves sleep quality. Walnuts are great for your heart too. They've got polyphenols to fight oxidative stress, and they're rich in arginine, an amino acid that helps keep blood vessels flexible and functioning. That's especially helpful if you're on medication for blood pressure or cholesterol, as it may enhance the effects. Try to eat 7 to 9 walnut halves a day. Keep them in the fridge to prevent the oils from going rancid. Walnuts spoil quicker than you might think. Here's a bonus tip. Crack walnuts by hand if possible. It's a small but effective way to keep your fine motor skills sharp. Their slightly bitter taste? That's actually a sign of their strong antioxidants at work. #2. Pistachios, blood pressure's secret weapon. If there's an underrated nut in the world of senior nutrition, it's pistachios. These green gems are loaded with potassium, about 285 milligrams per serving, and are naturally low in sodium. That combo is perfect for supporting healthy blood pressure. In fact, studies show that pistachios may lower systolic blood pressure by 3 to 5 points. That's comparable to the effect of some medications without the side effects. They also contain lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 carotenoids that specifically protect the macula in your eye. That's a big deal because age-related macular degeneration is the leading cause of vision loss in people over 60. Pistachios are easier to chew than other hard nuts, which is good news for seniors with sensitive teeth or dental work. Plus, they have a satisfying crunch, which makes them feel indulgent without being tough on your mouth. Ever notice how pistachios come in shells? That's actually a good thing. It slows you down while eating, helps prevent overeating, and gives your brain time to register fullness. That's especially useful for older adults looking to maintain a healthy weight. Want a pro tip? Look for half-open pistachios if you have arthritis or finger pain. They're easier to open, and you'll still get that tactile, mindful eating experience. Try to stick to about 49 pistachios a day, or roughly 1 ounce. Opt for unsalted or lightly salted versions. And yes, just like almonds and walnuts, pistachios also have fiber, about 3 grams per serving. That's great for digestion and blood sugar control, especially for the 25% of older Americans dealing with diabetes or prediabetes. Number 1. Brazil nuts. Thyroid support in a shell. Topping our list are Brazil nuts, small but mighty, and incredibly important for thyroid health. These nuts are the world's richest natural source of selenium. Just one Brazil nut has around 96 micrograms, which is more than 130% of your daily requirement. Selenium is vital for activating thyroid hormones, which regulate metabolism, energy, and even mood. That's a big deal because around 20% of people over 65 experience thyroid issues, and many go undiagnosed because the symptoms can be mistaken for normal aging. Brazil nuts don't just help your thyroid. Their fatty acids support the myelin sheath around your nerves, which helps preserve reflexes, reaction time, and processing speed as you age. Compared to selenium supplements, Brazil nuts are easier for your body to absorb, and they taste a whole lot better too. Rich, creamy, and slightly sweet. They're satisfying even in small amounts. Here's the catch. You only need 1 or 2 Brazil nuts per day. Any more than that, and you risk selenium toxicity, which can have the opposite effect on your health. Buy them in the shell if possible. That helps preserve nutrients. And because they're high in fat, store them in the fridge to prevent spoilage. They also contain fiber and natural oils that keep digestion moving, an extra bonus for those dealing with constipation. Some emerging research even suggests that Brazil nuts might protect your telomeres, the caps on your chromosomes that shorten as you age. Preserving telomeres could slow cellular aging. How amazing is that? Now that we've covered the best nuts for seniors, it's time to talk about the other side of the coin, the ones you may want to avoid or only eat occasionally. These nuts might seem harmless, even healthy at first glance, but for people over 65, they can cause more problems than benefits. Let's count down the top 4 nuts seniors should avoid, and the reasons might just change how you snack forever. Number 4. Peanuts. The inflammatory triplets start with peanuts, America's most popular nut. That isn't actually a nut. That's right, peanuts are technically legumes. And because they grow underground, they're much more likely to be contaminated with mold and aflatoxins, a natural toxin that, over time, can damage your liver and even raise cancer risk. As we age, our body's detox systems slow down, making it harder to process these kinds of toxins efficiently. But that's just the beginning. Peanuts also contain proteins that can trigger inflammatory responses in the body, even if you don't have a full-blown allergy. This is especially dangerous for older adults who are already dealing with joint pain, heart problems, or brain fog. Inflammation can make all of these worse. Plus, peanuts are packed with omega-6 fatty acids, the kind that, when not balanced with omega-3 south, can actually promote inflammation in the body. And unfortunately, the average American diet already includes way too many omega-6 south. There's another hidden danger. Vitamin K. Peanuts contain this vitamin, which might seem harmless unless you're on a blood thinner like warfarin. That interaction can throw your medication off balance, potentially leading to dangerous clots or bleeding episodes. And let's not forget peanut butter. Most commercial versions are loaded with added sugar, hydrogenated oils, and sodium. All bad news for aging hearts and blood pressure. Even natural peanut butter can be a concern. If it's stored improperly, it goes rancid fast, and that means harmful free radicals and oxidized fats entering your system. One more alarming thing. During dry roasting, a common process for peanuts, a chemical called acrylamide can form. Studies suggest that this compound may negatively affect cognitive function over time. So if memory and mental clarity are a concern for you, that's something to keep in mind if you've been snacking on peanuts every day and haven't noticed issues. It doesn't necessarily mean they're not affecting you. Try swapping in almonds or walnuts just a few days a week. You might be surprised by how much better you feel. 3. Cashews. The sneaky sugar spike. Next up, cashews. They've got a smooth texture, a naturally sweet flavor, and they seem healthy. But they might not be the best option for seniors. Why? Well, first off, cashews are higher in carbohydrates than most true nuts, about 9 grams per ounce. And with less fiber to slow digestion, they can cause a rapid spike in blood sugar. That's not great news for the estimated 25% of older Americans with diabetes, or the 48% who have prediabetes, and that smooth shape. It's a choking hazard. Particularly for seniors who have trouble swallowing, cashews can slip right down the wrong way. In fact, they're one of the most commonly aspirated nuts among older adults. Nutritionally, they also fall short in other ways. Cashews are high in oxalates, compounds that bind with calcium in the intestines, making it harder for your body to absorb the calcium it needs. For seniors already concerned about bone health or at risk for osteoporosis, that's a serious drawback. And if you're prone to kidney stones, the oxalates in cashews could increase your risk significantly, especially after age 60, when those risks naturally rise. Cashews also go through an intensive processing phase to remove a toxic compound called uracil, the same stuff found in poison ivy. That processing strips away many of the nutrients, meaning you're not getting as much as you might think. Many store-bought cashews are salted and roasted in unhealthy oils, adding even more sodium and trans fats. That can spike blood pressure and lead to heartburn, another common issue among the elderly. And here's something you might not know. Cashews contain enzyme inhibitors that make it harder to digest protein. That's especially challenging for seniors who already struggle with digestion or protein absorption due to age-related changes in the gut. Lastly, their creamy, addictive texture makes them super easy to overeat, which can quietly lead to weight gain at a stage in life when maintaining a healthy weight gets harder. Bottom line, If you love cashews, keep them as an occasional treat, and stick with healthier options like almonds or walnuts for your daily snacking. Number 2. Macadamia nuts. A heavy toll on the body. Macadamia nuts are luxurious, rich, and buttery. But for seniors, they come with some serious baggage. Just 1 ounce of macadamias contains nearly 200 calories, making them the most calorie-dense nut out there. And with aging metabolism naturally slowing down, those extra calories can add up fast, especially if you're trying to manage your weight. They're also incredibly high in fat, around 22 grams per ounce, with a hefty dose of saturated fat, about 3 grams. That type of fat can raise LDL cholesterol levels, which isn't what you want if you're already dealing with cardiovascular concerns. Macadamias are also super hard and dense. For older adults with fragile teeth, crowns, or bridges, biting into one could cause a dental emergency. And with tooth enamel naturally thinning after age 65, that risk only grows. Another issue? Their richness makes them easy to overindulge in. Seniors with blunted taste perception often crave stronger flavors, and macadamias deliver, which can make portion control tough. They're also expensive, some of the most costly nuts out there. Budget-conscious seniors might be tempted to buy older or improperly stored macadamias, which increases the chances of eating rancid fats that can damage cells and contribute to inflammation. Commercial macadamias are often heavily salted and roasted in oil. Yet another hit to blood pressure. Heart health and digestion. Now, some research suggests macadamias might be heart healthy in moderation, but the studies don't usually account for seniors specifically, or for the saturated fat concerns that come with age. If you've been eating macadamias thinking they're doing your heart a favor, it may be time to consider a switch to pistachios or walnuts. They're lower in fat, higher in fiber, and offer more comprehensive benefits for aging bodies. Number 1. Pine nuts. Small size, big problems. And finally, at number 1, the nut senior should be most cautious about pine nuts. They might look harmless, but these little seeds, yes, technically they're seeds, not nuts, are one of the most problematic foods for older adults. Here's why. Pine nuts can interfere with medications, and we're not talking about a few here. They've been shown to interact with over 60% of commonly prescribed medications for people over 65, including blood pressure meds, statins, and certain antidepressants. The most concerning thing? Most doctors and pharmacists don't warn patients about food-medication interactions. That means many seniors could be unknowingly reducing their medication's effectiveness or suffering side effects. Pine nuts are also linked to something called pine mouth, a bizarre condition that causes a metallic bitter taste that can last for weeks. It sounds minor, but that taste disturbance can lead to appetite loss, weight loss, and even malnutrition in older adults. Studies show that around 42% of people who experience pine mouth lose significant body weight, an alarming stat for seniors, where every pound counts. On top of that, pine nuts are full of polyunsaturated fats that oxidize quickly. That oxidation creates inflammatory compounds, which are the last thing you want in a body already dealing with arthritis, joint pain, or autoimmune issues. They're also slippery and small, a combination that increases the risk of aspiration or choking, especially for anyone with swallowing difficulties or dry mouth, a common side effect of many senior medications, like cashews. Pine nuts contain enzyme inhibitors that can block protein digestion, yet another blow to already strained digestive systems in older adults. Finally, there's disturbing new research suggesting that compounds in certain varieties of pine nuts may actually accelerate age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in seniors. The verdict? Pine nuts are best avoided if you're over 65. The risks far outweigh the benefits, and there are plenty of better alternatives that support health, not undermine it. Now that we've gone over the best and worst nuts for people over 65, Let's take a moment to bring it all together and talk about why this matters so much. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to what we eat. Our metabolism slows down. Digestion changes. Our immune system, heart, brain, and even our taste buds all start to behave differently. What might have been perfectly fine in your 40s could now quietly be sabotaging your health in your 60s, 70s, or 80s. That's why even something as small as switching up your nut choices can have real effects on your energy, cognition, digestion, and overall vitality. And here's the biggest takeaway: tiny habits, repeated over time, yield massive results. Even if you've been eating peanuts, cashews, or macadamia nuts for years without any noticeable problems, it doesn't mean your body hasn't been working overtime to compensate. Swapping in almonds for bone strength, walnuts for brain support, pistachios for blood pressure, and Brazil nuts for thyroid health, just a few days a week, could be the reset your system has been waiting for. Final reminder: the most sinister nut risk almost nobody talks about. Before we go, I want to leave you with one last critical insight, because it's something not many people are talking about. Many nuts on store shelves today, especially cheaper brands, are heavily processed, roasted at high temperatures, stored in plastic packaging, and often sit for months before reaching your home. During that time, fats in the nuts oxidize, creating rancid oils that not only taste stale, but produce harmful compounds that age your cells faster, increase inflammation, and even disrupt hormone levels. This risk is multiplied in nuts like pine nuts, macadamias, and peanuts, which are already high in unstable fats or vulnerable to mold and heat damage. And even worse, most of these nuts are labeled with healthy-sounding phrases like all natural, roasted, or heart healthy, but they're loaded with excess sodium, sugars, and oils that work against your body, especially if you're managing blood pressure, diabetes, or kidney function. To protect yourself, here's what you can do. Buy raw or dry roasted nuts with no added oils or salt. Store nuts in the fridge or freezer to protect their oils. Choose organic or reputable brands when possible. Avoid bulk bins. If you're unsure how long the nuts have been exposed to light or air, read the ingredients list. If there's anything besides the nut itself, think twice. This one small habit, being picky with your nut quality, could save you from unknowingly damaging your heart, brain, and metabolism, food and cognitive health. It's more connected than you think. Let's talk brain health for a moment. More and more research is revealing a clear connection between what we eat and how our brains function, especially later in life. Some nuts, like walnuts and almonds, actively fight oxidative stress, reduce inflammation in the brain, and support better memory and processing speed. Others, particularly heavily processed or mold-prone nuts like peanuts, can worsen brain fog, irritability, and fatigue, even if you're not aware it's happening. One study showed that a nut-rich diet actually reversed signs of cognitive decline in older adults over a period of several months. So yes, it really can make that much of a difference. So next time you feel a little off, a little slower, or less sharp, consider what's on your plate. Because food is brain fuel and your choices matter. Now it's your turn. Tell us your nut story. We've covered a lot in this video, and now I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from today? Have you ever changed your diet, especially your nut intake, and noticed a difference in your health? Is there a particular nut that made you feel better, or one you've stopped eating because it made you feel worse? Let's make the comment section a place for shared stories and support. You never know, your comment might help someone else who's going through the same thing. And remember, you don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just start small. Replace the peanuts in your trail, mix with pistachios. Trade the cashews in your snack bowl for almonds. Or just eat one Brazil nut a day to give your thyroid a little love. Don't miss future health tips. If this video resonated with you, even just a little, don't forget to like this video, click subscribe, Turn on notifications so you don't miss our next health breakdown. And here's a quick check-in. If you found this video helpful, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. We're always looking to improve and would love your honest feedback. Final thought, when it comes to aging well, it's not about perfection. It's about making informed, intentional choices. Your body is still listening to everything you put into it. And by understanding how different foods, yes, even nuts affect you, you're taking a powerful step toward a healthier, more vibrant future. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay sharp, and snack smart.